It actually comes from the book written by Hazanavicius, played by Stacy Martin here, and I felt in love with the characters and the story and the context and everything, and I bought the rights of the book, and then I tried to make a script for a movie. So I didn't change the story itself, but the way to tell the story, I tried to make it more cinematographic.
So she was married to Godard, and the film is a very specific moment in their life. She had just worked with him in La Chinoise. I mean, as much as the film is based on these two characters, it's also an interpretation of people that we know in our conscious minds, but are also so almost become like a myth. So it's forgetting the myth and kind of bringing it back to the people and to the love story that it is. So Anne, in a way, just as much as Jean-Luc Godard played in the film, are their own characters. They're characters. They're not kind of the representation of these people. We see a man who's in a very specific point in his life, creatively, politically. I think he's questioning his place and his responsibility to what he makes and how it impacts on people. But he's a man who's just in conflict with himself and with the world, and it's something that's extremely funny at times, and it's something that's extremely tragic at other times.
Yes, as she said, the movie is both a tragedy and a comedy, and also, since he never tried to pretend he was sympathetic, it was not his point. I mean, he tried to find some new territories for cinema. That was his point. So it was very freeing for me as a screenwriter to work on a character who doesn't have to be sympathetic. It's very freeing because you can also show his negative side. And the challenge is how you keep the empathy of the audience for a character who can be such an asshole. How would you say in...
Asshole?
No, I know, but no, it's not about... in like a clean word.
A clean word. Overpowering man.
Asshole is better. And yeah, it can be very... small and human. Human is a nice word to say, as to be an asshole, I think. Well, you know what? First, maybe he was right. I mean, but I think it was. We should ask him actually, because it's his quote, not mine. But I worked a lot on him. I read a lot of things. I saw, of course, his movies and a lot of interviews. And I think he has a lot of defaults, but he's very humble. He doesn't pretend to be the great Jean-Luc Godard, not at all. So it might be a mark of humility to say, making a movie about me is a stupid idea, could be a mark of humility.
I really enjoyed this scene in the car. It was one uninterrupted scene where we are 6 in the car, and it was extremely difficult. We did a lot of takes, but it immediately clicked, and there was something so... It was almost like an Italian comedy, and it encompassed all of the elements that we wanted in the film. Of it being funny, of it being endearing, of it just being unstoppable as well. I think what Jean-Luc in the film does is that he just creates something that he loses control over, and it affects everyone around him, and you really see it in that scene. And it was hard. It drove you insane, but it was a really enjoyable manifestation of our intent, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was going to talk about this sequence. For me, it was very challenging because I planned to shoot it with one shot, and it's a very long sequence with 6 characters all talking, but also arguing, and also, keeping silent for a while. And I had no option to cut this sequence, so it was all in one shot. And for me, the challenge was to edit it on set. That means usually when the actors say their lines, they don't speak on the other lines. They don't speak in the same time, and so they wait for them. So we had to fix all this and to make it alive, and also to respect the silences, because it's very. I love to see the characters thinking on screen when you let them the time to think of what they're going to say. And because it was a long shot, we had to fix everything. And when it was good, someone was laughing because it was good. So we had to do back to the beginning, and we did that sequence for 1 day and a half. You already said that.
No, I didn't,
No,
but we did
no.
about 33 takes, I think.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really, but it was really, creative. And it's the first time that I had this feeling of editing a sequence on set. And it was great. And you can do this when you have 6 really good actors. And I was a little bit nervous about it.
Just a bit.
Because of no, it's not true. No, I was a little bit nervous because there was this guy, the guy who drives the car. I mean, it was his first day, and he had 1 day. So I was nervous. He could have spoiled the entire sequence, and actually, it was really good. And but you have to have the 6 actors good in the same shot. It was something. But there's a lot of sequence, technically maybe more difficult, like the huge protests. The city of Paris was very supportive, and we were in the streets in Paris where things happen for real, and we had 700 extras. It was huge.